brajam stistan asina sayana kakamriga gocharita pibati kadate abamehatisma. Okay, I'll do it one more time. Evam gomriga kakacharyaya brajam stistan asina sayana kakamriga gocharita pibati kadati abamehatisma. Translation. Or everybody can repeat after me. Evam, thus, go. What's the meaning of go? Yes. Oh, everybody knows. Of cows. Mriga. What's mriga? Deer. Like mrigari. Kaka. What's kaka? Crows. Is it there? Oh, it's not there. Charyaya. By the activities. Brajan. Moving. Tistan. Standing. Ashinaha. Sitting. Sayanaha. Lying down. Kakamriga gocharita. Behaving exactly like the crows, deer, and cows. Pibati, drinks. Kadati, eats. Abamehati, passes urine. Sma, he did so. Translation. In this way, Lord Rishabdev followed the behavior of cows, deer, and crows. Sometimes he moved or walked, and sometimes he sat down in one place. Sometimes he lay down, behaving exactly like cows, deer, or crows. In that way, he ate, drank, passed stool and urine, and cheated the people in this way. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Rishabdev possessed a transcendental spiritual body. Since the general public could not appreciate his behavior and mystic yoga practice, they began to disturb him. To cheat them, he behaved like crows, cows, and deer. Evam gomriga kakacharyaya brajam stistan asina sayana kakamriga gocharita pibati kadati abamahit haetasma. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyanangyana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Parakamalam Shri Gurung Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Shajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Shra. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanesware Isabhanu Sute Deve Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kipasindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama In this way, Lord Rishabdev followed the behavior of cows, deer, and crows. Sometimes he moved or walked, and sometimes he sat down in one place. Sometimes he lay down, behaving exactly like cows, deer, and crows. In that way, he ate, drank, passed stool and urine, and cheated the people in this way. It's very interesting how the Supreme Lord, Lord Rishabdev, he's not an Sakyaves avatar, he's Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu Tattva means he is capable of doing like that of Lord Krishna. The potency is that of the same. But when other avatars of Lord Krishna comes, of course they're all very difficult to understand. They're not so easy, either in the human form or in other species of life. It says, as there are many species of life, there are also as many different kinds of incarnations of the Supreme Lord. So here he came as a Raja Rishi, as a saintly king who had 100 sons, and he's about to retire. In those days, the kings, they retire. The leaders, they retire. Specifically to devote the later part of their life for having it conducive to think of the Supreme Lord, to become Krishna conscious. And of course, they're already Krishna conscious, but still they have to devote the rest of their life to become more, what you say are called in samadhi. Samadhi means trance. And King Rishabdev, Lord Rishabdev, is of the same path for others to follow. Unlike nowadays, the leaders, they want to be on their position as long as they have their last breath. They don't want to give it up. They would like, just like I've read in newspaper, or not, well, we don't read newspaper, but we read from news the other day. There's one place in Middle East, and he's been there for like third or fourth term. In America, they only have 2 terms. After that, you're not allowed to re-elect. Is that correct? So this is the last term of the present president. He's finished after this. Either he like it or not. But Lord Rishabdev, he wants to prepare, so he's living here like an avaduta. An avaduta means he's a very highly evolved and advanced devotee, but he acts in such a way that contrary to the norm of the regular person or layman. He acts in such a way that it's like it's not desirable for a normal person to do. It's like here, he passes stool and urine wherever, wherever and whenever. He doesn't, do the proper etiquette of going to a latrine or something. But then his body is completely transcendental, and as we've heard, his stool and his urine is so fragrant. Because whatever is related to the Supreme Lord is what you call Supreme Absolute Truth. The Supreme Absolute Truth means everything in relation to Krishna or his expansions, they are spiritual. So you can smell, even if you're in Delhi, if you pass stool here and you're in Delhi, you can smell. Where is this smell coming from? 80 miles is around 120 kilometers, 130 kilometers. So that is the distance between Vrindavan and Delhi. This is how far the aroma of it's not refuse, it's actually you may say, it's not a waste. And he behaves here. It's like another example. Srila Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, in order to avoid the materialists because they bother him for benediction, he will also perform or act in such a way that he'll be inside a latrine where people pass toll. We pass toll, we go out immediately after our business, right? But Gorkishore Das Babaji, he will remain there so no one will disturb him. This is how transcendental they are. So Lord Rishabdev here, he followed the behavior of cows, deer, and crows. Have you seen a cow? So peaceful. No saying anything. And they have teeth, but they don't bite. It's like we stay in Goshala, and we've noticed this every day, that there is so much in the mode of goodness. So much in the mode of goodness. And you come to them, you can do whatever you like to them practically. And they will not protest. Of course, nowadays, the slaughterhouses, they kill so many animals, and they know they have feelings also. And they cry. They cry that so much so that they don't want these things to happen to them. But if you go to Goshala, which is very, very conducive for Krishna consciousness, our Krishna consciousness, if you come visit at least once a week, something, or even twice a week, or even every day, you'll get more of a feeling of how peaceful one can be and have a feeling of what Vrindavan is like. What is it like in Goloka Vrindavan, being with the cows, planet of the cows? So he's like a deer also. He behaved like a deer. A deer is like this also. They're very quiet, but they're very, very difficult to catch. They go very fast. If you kind of see them in the street or in the roads, like in America, it's normal if you drive at nighttime because they're very attracted to lights. Once you see them, and once they see you, they will run away immediately. It's very elope. Yeah, it's very difficult to get them. And he's compared to the crows. What is a crow? It's a bird. What color is that bird? Black. Where do you find the crows all the time? Practically. In the garbage. In the garbage. It's the opposite of swan or hansa. Now, how is it that Lord Rishabdev is compared or behaved like a crow? What does a crow do? Always looking for garbage, or always in the garbage. So Maharaj Rishabdev, in order to avoid the general populace, he would be near those areas where the general populace will not normally come and go. So in this way, he's cheating them. Because he's not really cheating them, he just doesn't want to be bothered. Doesn't want to be bothered by general populace, the general public. So the general public cannot appreciate him. Sigor Nitai, Panchatatva ki jai, Parampara ki jai, Sad Goswami ki jai, Sisi Krishna Balaram ki jai, and the two cows ki jai, and Radha Shyam, Lalita Visakha Devi ki jai. So because they disturb him, he lives like an Abhaduta. So usually they will tease him, and they will do many not so preparable acts to, just like, a person who, when they see, only if a person has a heart, but if he doesn't have a heart, he will tease a madman, a crazy person. You've seen this? Have you noticed this? Sometimes a mad person is already mad, but then people who doesn't have hearts, doesn't have compassion, they will go near them and they will torture that person more. I've seen it. I've seen it. So this is the nature of Lord Rishabdev. In order for them not to commit offenses towards him, then he himself will move away from the general people so that they will not give him any trouble. And this is good for them ultimately, because if they do, then it's not good for themselves. So in this way, he kind of cheated them. He acted in such a way that he is like an avaduta. Not a normal person, but very highly Krishna conscious. Externally, he looks like an ordinary, wild, crazy, dirty person. But inside, what counts? So we should not judge by the external, so to speak here. Is that all right here? So we'll move on now to Gadadhara Pandit. Srila Prabhupada mentions one time, I was hearing a lecture, Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says that one must understand the Panchatattva in order to go back home, back to Godhead. If we don't understand who are the Panchatattva, the members of the Panchatattva, that's including Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda, Shivas, Sri Advaita, and Gadadhar, then it's not very conducive for us, not so easy for us to go back to Godhead. Of course, we all want to go to Krishna Loka. One can go back to Godhead like in Vaikuntha planets, which is the spiritual world as well, but it's not the same, because we are followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we follow in his footsteps in the mood that he exhibited 500 years ago. Lord Chaitanya is none other than combined form of Radha and Krishna. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Anya. Lord Nityananda is none other than Balaram, Adi Guru. He is the original spiritual master, whom if we please, then we get the mercy of Gauranga, and then we'll get the mercy of Radha and Krishna. Shiva's Thakur is Narad Muni. He is a Bhakta avatar. Narad Muni is the most famous transcendental spaceman, Vaishnava, who traveled all over the universe, not just in this universe, in the whole material creation, and without visa he can go back and forth in the spiritual world without showing any passport. He can be in an instant wherever there is a pastime of the Supreme Lord, which is very, very important. He can talk with the demons, he can talk with the devotees alike, freely. Advaita Acharya, none different than Sadashiva and Mahavishnu at the same time. This is why he's called Advaita. And he is Goswami, even though he is married. There are 3 Goswamis, 10 Goswamis. Advaita Acharya also, Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And later on, Gadadhar Pandit also took sannyas. Is another than Srimati Radharani, according to Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, and also according to Kavi Karnapur, who ascertained all the different associates of Radha and Krishna. They all came also in the pastimes of Gauranga Mahaprabhu in Gaura Leela. All these different associates of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, they have also expansions of the different associates of Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world. So that same person, the daughter of King Vishabhanu Nandini, is none other than Gadadhara Pandit. He came in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he came as the mood of a devotee, specifically in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So we have two Radharanis here. How is this? How is that? In the highest level, when one reaches the level of Nishta, Nishta means fixed. In the beginning we have what you call Shraddha. We become fixed also, but it's not so fixed as Nishta. Nishta means you cannot be moved. Your faith on the Supreme Lord and His associates are so much so that no one can sway you from understanding and surrendering unto them. Unlike in the Kanishta stage, like we are, if somebody has a better logic and argument and a little bit more well-versed in the scripture, or even a Mayavadi, and if we're not very strong in our determination, in our understanding philosophically, we can become like them. But Nishta, at the time when one is in Nishta, and what to say of Ruchi? Ruchi means you start to have taste. Taste of the holy name, taste for serving the Lord. When one is in love, usually he doesn't express through words. When one is in love, he expresses himself or herself through the eyes. Bright eyes, or effulgent coming from his body or her body. When one is in love, just like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, whenever he will give class, his body will turn red. That's the color of love. In the material world, it's a color of passion, right? Have you seen cars, race cars? They're all red color. But in the spiritual world, you blush. You blush, that means you turn red. So a person who's in love, usually he expresses things not by words. Sometimes a person who's in love, he's quiet. She is quiet. Doesn't say anything. Unlike a mad person who just want to show something that he is in love or not really in love, is talkative. So Gadadhara Pandit, he is 1 year younger, but I've read in some place that he is few years younger than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But his father and his mother, Madhav Misra and Ratnavati Devidasi, they're both friends of Mother Sachi and Jagannath Misra. Mother Sachi considers Ratnavati as her sister, and they live close by in Navadvip. And Gadadhara Pandit and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's called Nimai during the early days of his pastimes, childhood pastimes or early youth. They're always together. They are inseparable. They cannot be separated. They go together to the school of Gangadas Pandit in Ganganagar, and they will play together. They will go swimming together in Ganga. But at times, because Gadadhara Pandit is so much absorbed in Krishna consciousness right from the early childhood that he doesn't like Nimai whenever he will be arguing with his students, friends, or with his students, because later on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also established his stall or his school. He doesn't like this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always arguing with logic, with grammar, which is right and which is wrong. So sometimes he would distance himself away from Nimai. And Nimai will notice this. So he will run after Gadadhara and he would say, Gadadhara, do not worry. Someday I will be a great Vaishnava that even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva will be knocking at my door. That great I will be. So, one day, because of his father, Lord Gauranga, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his father passed away. So he went to Gaya to do Pinda. And this is the second time that he met his guru, Isvarapuri. The first time he met Isvarapuri he was a Pandit, Nimai Pandit. And Isvarapuri had this book that he wrote, Krishna Charita. So he asked Nimai to see if there is anything wrong. So he gave him for one night, he read the whole Krishna Charita. And Nang Nimai says, there is something wrong here. Something is wrong. One or two verbs, they're not in the proper wordings. And so Isvarapuri took the book again and he figured out. At night time he says, yes, something is wrong here. But then the next day he found out that there's really nothing wrong here. So he told Nimai that, well, there's nothing wrong here. And Nimai says, okay. So this was like an indication that Isvarapuri will be his spiritual master. And this developed further when they met each other in Gaya. So he was initiated in the Harinam, Nam Diksha, Harinam. So he went back to Navadvip. And he was a changed person then. He's not the same anymore. Before he was like, arguing, erudite. Now he's very well behaved, but more of like a madman, intoxicated with chanting of the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And he's always looking for Krishna. Hey Krishna, where are you? Where are you? I cannot find you. So one night, Gadadhara Pandit, he heard that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be discussing about Krishna, the holy name, at the residence of Suklambar Brahmachari. But he was not invited. So he went inside the house, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, they will be outside in the courtyard discussing about Lord Krishna and chanting, engaged in Harinam Sankirtan. Somehow, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell into ecstasy and he became unconscious. Now, Gadadhara Pandit was inside. But everyone was so outside, they were so astonished about how this Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu really changed after coming back from Gaya. That they don't know what to do. They were all surprised also that before he was not like this. He was not losing his consciousness. He doesn't come into trance. So how is this? What are we gonna do? So everyone start like crying. Everyone start crying. And so after some time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came into his consciousness. Everybody stopped crying. And they all became jubilant as ever. And they started again chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu noticed and heard that there is one person who is still crying. And they're not amongst the devotees who are surrounding him. he heard that this person who's crying is from inside the house. So Mukunda and Gadadhara Pandit, they're very, very close friends. That's why I call best friends also. Mukunda Datta is the like the favorite singer of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's the best singer of them all. So Suklambar Chakrabarti also, Suklambar Brahmachari, was asked, who is chanting? Oh, who is crying? And Suklambar says, it is he, your Gadadhar. So Lord Chaitanya asked for Suklambar to get Gadadhar. And he asked, why are you crying? Actually, he was crying. His head is down and sobbing, crying like a child. And he asked, why are you crying? Gadadhar says, I'm crying because I can feel how much love you have for Krishna. And I don't have that love. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no. It is the opposite. Actually, you have more love than I do. I do not have any love for Krishna. Because I can still remember when we were young kids or children, you already surrendered to Krishna, not me. It's only after I received the holy name from my initiating spiritual master that I started to have this kind of feeling. So who is more Krishna conscious? Who is more? It is you. Anyway, he became pacified, so he stopped also. So this Mukunda Datta, he's a good friend of Gadadhar Pandit. And whenever there is a very advanced Vaishnava who come to Navadvip, Mukunda Datta will hear, and he will always want to have darshan. So one day, on the order of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also asked Gadadhar to accompany Mukunda Datta, and you go and see this Vaishnava. He is very advanced. So Mukunda Datta, along with Gadadhar Pandit, they went and see this Vaishnava. And when Gadadhar Pandit saw this Vaishnava, he was surprised. What is this? He looks like a gross materialist. Look, he's lying down on a soft sofa with silk covered with wild silk. He has, what do you call this? Chuka? Chuka, you know, like a tobacco pipe. And, yeah, and a tambula. He has many servants. They have this pan, you know, this tambula. Have you seen people eating tambula and then they go like this after some time? So we offer tambula also to our lordships every day. But this is not for us. This is only for them. Mayapur also, they do it. You've seen Brijabasis or the Pandits or the Brahmanas, they have their lips are always red. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, later on also, his lips are always red because of this tambula or this pan. And same with this person. He's been fanned with very big peacock fan. His seat is very ornate. It's decorated with pearls and jewels all over the place. So within his mind, Gadadhar Pandit was saying, what is this? How can it be said as an advanced devotee, Vaisnava? One of the meaning of a Vaisnava is that simplicity. A Vaisnava means simple, not complicated, not extravagant, not luxurious. So within his mind, he says, this cannot be. He is wrong. So he told this to, and actually he didn't say anything to Mukunda Datta. Mukunda Datta can see from his face that there is a doubt from his friend Gadadhar Pandit that this person is like an impostor. This person's name is none other than Pundarik Vidya Nidhi. So, to prove to Gadadhar Pandit that actually he's a very advanced Vaisnava, I will recite a verse from the 3rd canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam explaining the quality of Putana, whereby she has this motherly affection even though her main motive is to kill Krishna by feeding baby Krishna from the breast of hers who is anointed with poison. And Krishna did not see this, that, oh, she's here to kill me, I don't like her. No, Krishna sees the main nature, which is the motherly. He sees the good side of being a mother, affection also of Putana. So when he recited this, Mukundadatta, very loud, then Pundarik Vijayanidhi started to become uneasy. He ripped his shirt and he's trying to put, the nails, trying to break the covering of his chest, because he's trying to see also Krishna inside. He fell down, and while falling down, all the things become his crumbles. The very beautiful ornate seat where he is, all the jewelries and the pearls are hanging down, they're all over the place. Started to cry, and eventually he lost consciousness. So now, Gadadhar Pandit understood, I am wrong. I made an offense, a big blunder. So there's a lesson here for all of us, that we should not see the external of a devotee. Either he is in the male form or she is in the female form. A Vaisnava is a Vaisnava. Either he's a Grihastha, Brahmachari, Banaprastha, or Sannyas. Externally, we cannot tell who is really an advanced devotee. Only when they act or when they speak, we can tell he is a very advanced devotee. But mostly, when they act, they don't express, usually those who are in love with Krishna, as we mentioned earlier, they don't express through words. They express in how they serve Krishna. Sometimes devotees, they will cut vegetables for Krishna, and sometimes they will leave behind, the skin. And, I'm in a hurry, so let me offer this to Krishna. And then one devotee, you will see, very nicely, very scrutinizingly, seeing that everything is in good order and it's cut proportionately, cut in the right direction. So who's in love here? Who's in love? You can tell. But the other person who's cutting fast says, no, I'm the best cook. Nuh-uh. Doesn't go like this. So we have to be careful to judge the Vaisnava. We're not to judge. It's Krishna who to judge. For us, we should always appreciate the good things of everybody. So, eventually, Gadadhar, he says, there's only one way I can atone for this. Because this is Vaisnava Aparad. Sadhuninda is the worst offense. There are two things, offense and sin. Sin you do, it can be atoned, but offense, there's a different way how to do it. Especially Vaisnava Aparad. Usually, no one knows if you commit an offense to the mind. Only one will know if you commit an offense through words, by criticizing others, or by action. But there's only one person who knows if you commit an offense to the mind. To a Vaisnava. Krishna. He knows. No one else knows. You can hide in your mind, but then in the mind it comes through words, and in words it becomes action. So one must be very careful. So Gadadhara Pandit says, there's only one way I will be able to counteract my aparad, is that I will take initiation from him. I will take initiation from him. He will be my guru. Now, Gadadhara Pandit is the guru of Gauranga. Gadadhara Pandit is the guru of Sarup Damodar, of Rupa, Sanatan, all the Goswamis. He's the guru of everyone. Every day in Jagannath Puri, he will be always reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be there also listening. So practically, he's the guru of everyone. So now here, the guru of everyone is taking another guru for himself. Srimati Radharani is the guru of everyone in Vrindavan, not Krishna. She is the guru of everyone. Bart Mani, she is the center in Vrindavan. If there's any reflection of bhakti, the source of bhakti, every devotional service that is present in the spiritual world is from Srimati Radharani. And any reflection in the material world of bhakti also comes from Radharani. We cannot make advancement without pleasing Radharani. If Radharani is pleased, Krishna is pleased. If there is no Radharani, there is no Krishna. Krishna is not complete without Radharani. There is no Vrindavan without Radharani. Ultimately. So Radharani having a guru, so how is this? So the Acharyas explains that this Pundarik Bijanidhi is none other than his father in Braj, Vrishabhanu, Maharaj Vrishabhanu. So a daughter naturally is disciple of the father. Correct? So he accepted Pundarik Bijanidhi, and Pundarik Bijanidhi says, yes, I will accept you. There is no one more joyful in the three worlds except if he has the most qualified disciple to have. So the disciple must be qualified, the spiritual must be qualified also in order to have the fruit of love of God, Krishna Prem. It is not that only the spiritual master is qualified and the disciple is not qualified. And the disciple will also think that he will go back home, back to Godhead. He must come to the stage where he will become qualified. Of course, disciple doesn't always think that he is qualified. Never a moment a disciple will think that he will become qualified in front of the eyes of his or her spiritual master. We only exist because of the